have overlapping realities. You're going to see realities that you don't prefer. You're going to see realities that you do prefer. You are a world that is a melting pot, an overlapping of many different kinds of choices. That's what Earth is all about.
I was hoping you could provide me with some more tools, tricks, permission slips. I find myself running through some like negative thoughts.
Why?
In my head as I perceive some negative behavior.
Oh, all right. Then do you understand that you're adding to that negativity? Is that what you prefer to do?
It is not.
Well, then why do you add to it?
That is what I would like some help in that regard.
All right. Well, do you understand that that is not necessarily your reality just because you can see it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Not 100%.
No, thank you for being honest.
I'm under the impression that if...
Yes?
And I know you shared this yesterday, which actually shed some more light on it, and I haven't had the time to really process it, but as we grow further into the light, we see more of the darkness.
Of course. As you expand your consciousness, you're going to be more aware of darkness and light. It doesn't mean it has to affect you or you have to choose it. You just become more aware that it's there as a choice because you become more aware of everything within all that is, which has a trinity in it: light, dark, and the balance point in the center. Therefore, becoming more aware of it doesn't mean you have to react to it. It's just an observation. And if you really want to help, being in a positive state is what gives someone behaving negatively at least an opportunity or an option to change their energy. But if you're also reacting negatively to it, you're only reinforcing something they're already doing. Why would you prefer to do that?
I do not prefer to do that.
Then do you also remember what we said about the idea that you can give someone an option? You can share an idea that you believe might give them an opportunity to change into something more positive. But do you also remember that we said that whatever it is they do with what you share with them is none of your business?
I do recall.
All right. So then why are you making it your business? Why are you choosing something you say you don't prefer to do as an energy state? There must be a reason. You never do anything, you never choose anything that you don't believe serves you in some way. So you have to find out what that belief is that says that doing what you don't prefer to do is actually what you prefer to do. You have to find out why it would seem to make sense to do that, because that's the only reason you would choose to match a negative vibration when you experience a negative vibration or observe one. It must make sense, it must seem to make sense for you to choose to do that. You have to find the belief that makes that seem to make sense, because you know that if you really understood what that belief was saying, it wouldn't make sense at all. But you have to bring that belief into the light of your consciousness to know what it's saying, so you can see that it makes no sense. And once you see that it makes no sense, it's gone. But as long as you keep choosing to do that, you have a belief that is making it make sense to do something you don't prefer. Because more often than not, that belief is saying, if you stop doing this, if you let me go, as a negative belief, something worse will happen. So it's trying to scare you into not letting the negative belief go, letting you think and believe that it's safer to hold on to the negative belief you have rather than experiencing something even worse if you were to change. You have to see through these things as simply the way that negative beliefs choose to reinforce themselves. They don't have a choice about it in that sense. It's just the way they're designed. They have to perpetuate themselves somehow by making you believe that those choices are real, are factual, instead of just nothing more than a perspective, which is all they really are. Is any of this helping?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So if you were to investigate yourself and see that there is a belief within you that is saying that when you observe something you don't prefer, when you observe somebody doing something negative, that you must also go into a negative state, how does that make sense to you? What belief would you have to have for that to make sense? For you to think you're getting a benefit by doing that when you know you're not? What would the belief have to be? Let's use your imagination.
That I am somehow responsible for that negative behavior, or
how could that be?
Or it's a reflection of of my negative behavior?
All right. You can always look at anything and you can always take a moment to say, all right, is this reflecting something to me that I need to understand? Something that I need to balance in my life? But you also get to decide, if you're honest with yourself, that it may not. Remember, just because things are reflections doesn't mean they're always a one-to-one reflection. It doesn't mean that what you're seeing someone else do is what you're doing. The reflection may simply be that you observe it so you can help them. That can be a reflection. That you're in their life to be of service, to help them maybe make a different choice. That's still a reflection. Don't take it absolutely literally in that, oh, what they're doing is what I am doing. No, that's not necessarily the case, although you can take a moment to decide if it is. But if you realize it's not, then you have to know that it's happening for a different reason. And it may be more their issue than yours. But you're still in their life and they're still being observed by you for some reason. But you need to figure out what that is to your benefit. Yes?
That makes a lot of sense.
Does that help you?
It does.
Will that do?
That will do. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Good to see you again, Bashar.
And you as well. Good day.
Good day. It's not a criticism, but there may be an eighth need that you may have overlooked.
Oh, all right. Do tell.
I don't know. I'm just asking, really. Is there an electromagnetic field that feeds us all the time that if we didn't have that, we wouldn't even last a moment?
Well, in a sense, yes, but that's just a description of the reality that you've created as a support system in total. Right. Everything we've mentioned makes use of that electromagnetic field. So you're talking about something that's on a different level. Right. We're talking about the 7 basic needs of physical reality. You're talking about things on a higher level that generate the entire physical reality, but we're talking about the translations of that energy in physical reality.
All right, I get that. Now, the paradox of those physical needs would be possibly a deprivation temporarily of one of those needs could increase an expansion of consciousness.
It can, depends again how on anything is used. Anything can be used positively or negatively.
Right, but if we take those needs and somehow, we fast a little bit, then there's a cleansing that allows that need to be appreciated.
Again, it depends on how you use it, of course.
Do you suggest any ways of using it?
I do not.
Okay.
It's up to your imagination. It's up to what works for you. As I said, you can take any permission slip and alter it in a way that works for you.
But the needs are not permission slips. They are essential aspects.
For physical reality. But the idea is what you're doing is a permission slip when you suggest, well, what if I fast for a little while?
I see.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're turning the need into a permission slip.
I get it. Okay, now a question I waited a year to ask you because...
One whole orbit.
Yes, because it's a question about time travel.
Oh, yes.
And I asked you a question last year about time travel, and you
Yes.
said, and there really is no such thing as time travel in the...
Science fiction sense,
Yes.
correct.
But it's a matter of matching vibrations
Yes.
of, let's say, this moment to last year's moment would be a sort of time travel.
Well,
No.
again, it's not exactly last year's moment as you understand last year's moment.
Right.
It's a moment that may be similar in a parallel reality. It may look almost identical. You may not be able to tell the difference, but you're not actually in your own past. You're in a parallel reality that looks like what you experienced as the past, but it's not yours in that sense.
So the essential thing that I came away with and thought about for a year is that there really is no duplication of this moment ever, because this moment is only this moment and you can't duplicate it.
Correct.
So there is no time travel back to this moment
No.
because we're live.
Yes.
And even a recording is not the moment.
No.
So, okay.
As the Zen monks on your planet say, you can't step into the same river twice.
Exactly. I think it was Heraclitus that said that, but yes, exactly. So you're in the future, but what future are you in?
That's a good question.
That's why I asked it.
Because you see, the idea, again, is that we exist in a manner you perceive as the future. Of course, we exist at the same time you do, in a parallel reality that to you feels like the future because of its vibration, because of it expresses itself in the way that you relate to as the future. Of course, if we weren't actually simultaneously coexistent, we couldn't be talking to you.
Right.
So the idea is we are representative of a probable future that contains and expresses certain frequencies and certain vibrations that are representative of a harmonious Earth interacting with different extraterrestrial beings, and it's your choice to decide to guide yourself and shift yourself to that version of Earth, or that timeline, so to speak, by being more of yourself. That's why we feed you the information, is because the formula itself, the instruction manual itself, allows you to change and shift your frequency, and that navigates you through the different frames of parallel realities, creating a so-called continuous timeline that you experience in physical reality that navigates you to the version of Earth that already exists, that's more representative of the changes you made within yourself that you say you prefer, and we represent to some degree that particular future reality that you say you prefer.
So your presence here is sort of pulling us, in a sense, through time, space, towards that probable future. And the more we embrace such an exchange, the more probable perhaps that future becomes.
Exactly.
So thank you for your presence and your willingness to participate. But what do you get out of it?
A bigger family.
Okay. But
do you not think that you have value to us?
no, I get that, but it already happens in your present, which is our future. It's already there, right?
It's not exactly the way you think of it, though.
Okay. How should we think of it?
It's not about should.
Okay.
The idea is that we understand your potential. We see what you really are. Mm-hmm. But we also see what you prevent yourself from knowing that you are. Mm-hmm. And therefore we give you information that allows you to strip away the things that are not you, so that you can become more fully apparent to us in our reality as the beings you actually are in your core.
Just like you're a parent to us.
Yes.
A parent.
We are seeing you forming, in a sense, in the same way that open contact would be an idea where you see us forming in your so-called reality. We are blending and overlapping the realities to create a third probability in which we can both interact. And so we're experiencing the formation of that reality even as you are.
So in the 33 years or 35
37.
years, 37 years you've been visiting us, have you seen the unfolding of a closer probable reality to what your intention is?
Yes. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this.
All right. So we're evolving.
Yes.
And okay, I'm just checking in. And so we're at a crossroads. It seems like, yes.
You're at a pivot point right now in your year of 2020, yes.
Right. So is there anything we should do to make it more probable that...
I've already told you. The formula is everything.
Okay.
It answers everything.
The formula being...
You act on your highest passion to the best you can, no insistence or assumption on the outcome, remain in a positive state no matter what manifests, because it's not about what happens, it's about what you do with what happens that makes the difference. This unlocks the tools of the driving engine, the organizing principle of synchronicity, the path of least resistance, the path of connection to all expressions of excitement in your life, the path of relevance, leaving nothing out, the idea of support in whatever form it needs to be there to allow you to continue to act on your excitement, the reflective mirror that reveals to you anything in your belief system that's out of alignment with your preferred reality so you can examine it and let it go. And that's the entire formula. That's the entire instruction manual. We can and have spent many hours continually refining your understanding in more precise ways of those particular tools and instructions, but there are no more instructions. We've distilled this down from our observation of how your physical reality works to give you literally an instruction manual that's no different from any instruction manual you would read to operate a piece of machinery. If you read the instructions and follow the instructions precisely, the machine will operate to your advantage as advertised. If you do not follow the instructions precisely, the machine may operate, but it may not operate to your advantage and you may injure yourself.
Oh.
So we have distilled this down into an instruction manual that's very simple and is an actual description of the structure and nature of existence. So just follow the instructions. That's all you need to do. Every single appointment and every single agreement that you've made will unfold in perfect timing if you do that and follow the instructions. And the only way you can miss any appointment you've made or any agreement you've made is to spend your time and energy worrying that you will miss the appointment or the agreement.
Right.
It's that simple. It is self-contained. It is self-perpetuating. It is self-guiding. It leaves nothing relevant out. Nothing. It's a complete holistic kit. Just go with the flow. That's all you have to do. Just follow the instructions as precisely as you can. Everything is fine.
Great. So also want to say, if we want to vibrate towards the future potential self, because that's a time that we exist, did I upset you?
No.
What?
We're actually laughing.
We are. That's how you laugh on your planet.
It's just that you're not hearing it.
I thought I did. Okay, we'll follow the instructions.
You're not asking a separate question.
Right. I
understand?
got you.
When you act on your passion, what happens? Your frequency goes up,
Right.
yes?
Yes.
When your frequency goes up, what happens? You become a better receiver of higher frequency information and energy.
Okay.
It's self-contained. It leaves nothing relevant out.
I'm going to look at those instructions again.
All right.
How are my hybrid children doing?
Peachy.
Peachy? Thank you, Bashar.
You're welcome.
Hi, Bashar.
Andy, you good day.
Thank you so much for everything you've done for all of us.
It is our passion and our pleasure.
Amazing. I have two questions.
Yes.
You've given us lots of permission slips besides
Yes.
the formula. Do you have a new permission slip for us to raise our vibration around prosperity and financial prosperity specifically? Other than, I know what you're going to say, other than the formula, of course. But that's the answer to everything, though, right?
So I suppose there is a mistranslation when we say it leaves nothing relevant out. However, we will once again add this. Don't focus on only one form of abundance. We understand that money on your planet is one symbol of support, one symbol of abundance, but it's not the only one. And if you're focused only on one symbol of abundance, you're closing the doors through which other forms could come because you won't recognize them for the support that they are. Because you're insisting, well, if it doesn't come in this form, it's not coming at all. Being given a gift is a form of abundance. Yes?
Yes.
Synchronicity is a form of abundance. Yes? Yes. Trading for something is a form of abundance. Yes?
Yes.
Imagination is a form of abundance because it gives you ideas to try new paths where you may not even need what you thought you needed.
Okay.
So, when you allow those forms and other forms to be equally valid, then you allow them to come to you in whatever form and whatever amount they need to come. Because more often than not, different forms of abundance may have to come in to support one another, a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of that to form the 100% abundance that you need. Remember, our definition of abundance is simply the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. Period. That's it. The ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. That's it. So if it comes in a little bit of money and a little bit of a gift and a little bit of synchronicity, and it forms the 100% you need at that moment for the situation you're in, why close the doors on everything but money?
Beautiful.
Because if it only takes a little bit, why insist on more? Because then you're defeating the purpose. You're not using the mechanism. in the way it is representative of the path of least resistance. Remember this formula. Insistence is resistance. Yes? So don't insist. Don't rigidize the process. Let it flow to you. Don't filter the other things out by only seeing one thing as valuable, as valid. Let it all flow to you. Yes?
Yes.
Is this helping?
Very much.
All right. And
another question. So I'm working on it's not really as new anymore, but it's relatively new technology that converts your body heat into specific frequencies of light.
Oh, all right.
And it sends it into specific points in your body with lots of benefits.
Yes.
Since you are technologically light years ahead of us, is there...
Well, that's a misnomer, but we understand what you mean.
Metaphor, yeah. 1,000 years, is it ahead of us?
3,000 years ahead of you.
Is there anything you'd like to share that would, besides the formula, that would guide us in the right direction with this technology specifically?
Do you understand that your body is made of light? I will take your silence as no.
Not exactly.
Yes, no?
50%.
Oh, all right. There is another way to understand the idea on your planet that you call the chakra system. Mm-hmm. You have associated different frequencies of light with the different chakra points on your body.
Yes.
Yes? Mm-hmm. So understanding those frequencies as purely as you can will give you a big clue how to use light that is representative of those frequencies in different ways for balancing the idea of the body.
Got it.
Does that help?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.